Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Dead Space 3. Let's continue. So, we finally figured out, we finally got to the tutorial point where we can build a new weapon. So the only thing I'm really looking forward towards now is the idea of suit upgrades, if we're gonna have this. Now this is getting weird. I would say these doors having to be opened with telekinesis instead of just walking up to them and pressing A. It also, I think, is trying to set us up for the idea that we're gonna open a door fairly far away to be prepared for the clear Necromorph attack, which I don't know if we're expecting to see new kinds of Necromorphs or what.
What's going on?
I just got jumped by what's left of the crew.
What? No one could have survived out here that long.
They didn't survive. They got turned into those things.
What? Okay, what do we do?
You keep your weapon ready and you stay the hell away from the ventilation ducts. If they get close, shoot for the limbs. You got that? I said you got that!
Yeah, okay.
So, the question I guess I should ask here is, did I just waste a small health kit? Should I not even be using them until I am lower than halfway at health? It's kind of a hard decision to not want to fill your health back up when you're halfway full. That's asking a lot. And I guess if it's not a glowing box, then it's of no concern in this game. Probably would have already known that had it just not been fairly a long time since I last played a Dead Space game. Like, this is probably one of those series that in theory you would kind of want to play in a row, but in practicality nobody ever really has time to play in a row. Honestly, shoot limbs to dismember enemies for extra damage. Well, didn't. Apparently this would be the point where the game is reminding you of that fact, in case you had forgotten. It definitely looks like a collectible. And this whole thing looks like some kind of school type environment, although probably not a school as much as a debriefing area. There is a question certainly to ask of there is a question to ask here as far as, were these the people who were around 200 years ago in the prologue and now they are getting turned into Necromorphs, or have they been Necromorphs for a very long time? So that was an artifact. So yeah, I think the idea here is that these are the characters from 200 years ago or 100 years ago, some very long amount of time, and either now they're getting turned into Necromorphs because the unitologists blew up the red fake markers, and that has reactivated some things. Now, there's always been some confusion in my mind as far as the red markers being the fake markers and recreations, and then there being an original black marker. I am not sure if the marker in the first game was a well, apparently I just accidentally healed and I didn't even know I'd taken damage. I was trying to reload. Very bright lens flare. It does make an argument potentially about turning the brightness back down a little bit, but honestly I just feel like this game is trying to set you up for this second half of the game where you're just going to be on super bright snow areas. I guess these things never got sneaky, or that sneaky, where you would knock them down and then they would get back up if you had not done enough damage to them. So there was a item I collected. Until you can get to a storefront, though, a lot of this stuff is just not even that useful. So either I just picked up the official orders here, or I picked up something else. That was the artifact that we got in the previous room. It's kind of weird to have artifacts in two areas. That may not have been an artifact at all. And we're getting like power-ups and upgrades a lot faster than I was really expecting. Which, that certainly could be weird if it turns out that this game is really small, shorter than it feels like it would be.
Almost to the crossover tube.
0G.
Sir, we're running low on ammo!
Make a barricade. Just keep them out a little longer.
Yeah, you can't even walk up to these doors and press B. And we're collecting all kinds of items. So this is just a floating corpse by the looks of it. So good to know. As far as that, that's nothing. We can get this one and get the somatic gel. But, you know, I don't think there's anything here. These guys seem to be slightly different looking than they did in the second game. They're better designed. less human looking, really. And these guys, if I recall correctly, kind of impossible to kill if you don't get their 3 little projectile limbs destroyed. There is definitely some weirdness in the fact that there seems to be very distinct styles of mutations that happen as far as the Necromorphs. And oddly, it seems to be really lacking any evolution of new monsters since the, I'd say, first game. If there were any new monsters in the second game, they were so uninteresting that I don't even remember them. So I'd expect and want to see some new evolutions here. Alright. Here we've got another text log. I'm not even really reading these at all. I'm not even trying to skim them. But pause now if you want to read it. And I'm really wondering about these ammo clips. Like, at some point, it feels like what we need is something's gonna happen here. This camera angle is way different. Interesting. I would have sworn something would have happened there. Yeah, they're gonna have to, as far as inventory, give us some higher capacity clip of bullets, because otherwise we're gonna always have our inventory
Norton, you there?
full.
Yeah, I'm here. Alright, I think that's holding them for now.
Good. The SOS is coming from directly above me. And it looks like I found the ship's primary generator. If I can get power going, it should unlock the crossover for you.
Alright, what about you?
There's an elevator here that goes straight up the spire. I'll meet you at Ellie's coordinates.
So it's another one of these events where they're going to have you separated. Restore power to ship, press back for details. I guess can't do that now. This is like directly similar to the events of the first game. You are in a round room and eventually the Necromorphs are going to attack you, particularly when you turn the power on and make some noise. Now, I wouldn't really say Necromorphs are like attractive to noise or anything like that. If anything, they are a superior design to what is your standard zombie for that very reason, in that you just are not... there is no concept here of them being stupid or blind or based on movement or anything like that. They attack assumingly just because they can see you or smell you, and they are going to just come at you, and if you shoot them in the head, Necromorphs have that smart concept of not being really damaged by being shot in the head. Alright. Are we... So, trying to run proved to be a mistake. I think that proved to be a pretty terrible mistake, actually. A, it didn't get me any resources by trying to run. B, it cost me a couple health kits. And C, it didn't really affect anything well. Here they just want you to hold B, so I guess you could probably just hold B the whole time. See, that time nothing seemed to show up, which implies to me maybe a big monster. It would be as good of a point as any to introduce a monster of some sort. The only thing I will say is that this does establish older technology. Are we good? Like, so compared to the Ishimura ship, the technology here looks older, which is interesting, but the problem here certainly...
Hey, we have power. The crossover just opened up.
You're welcome.
Rosen, lock
one.
and stay put. Isaac Carver will rendezvous with the Spire. Got it.
Oh yeah, and I forgot about these sequences, whereas they pretty much set that up so that you would end up getting attacked by those characters. There's another health. Yeah, and these small healths really are doing like over 3/4 of your health. Now we're just loading. In progress. Wow, this is just taking forever. It's almost as if it stopped loading as soon as I stopped looking at it. Yeah, the problem with doing more world building in this game is it just doesn't really need to happen. We kind of already know who Isaac is, and his story should probably be going forward a lot more than it seems to have so far. Maybe now we'll get some of that.
Oh God, you found us.
Oh, Ellie, baby.
Remember, she lost an eye.
I knew you were too stubborn to die.
Now we've got like
Is this him?
two other characters being introduced.
Isaac Clarke. Great to meet you. Austin Buckle, Marker Ops. This here is Jennifer Santos, our little lady with the big brain.
If it's true you can decipher the marker script, this mission might still have a chance.
Isaac, thank you for coming.
Like I had a choice.
I know, I'm sorry, but I have so much to tell
This
you.
is a weird assortment of faces.
Get out of here now.
No, not yet. Isaac,
We need to stop the marker. The trail ends at the Admiral's quarters. She'd written marker school all over the walls. The answers are in there. I know it. We cannot leave until we know what it says.
Yeah, well, then let Isaac handle the translating. We're leaving now. I got Buckle, you get Santos. Let's go.
Go on, take care of your crew. They need you more than I do.
So once again I get left alone. So your ex-girlfriend here is the reason that you get pulled back into this mess, although it doesn't seem like you have a really good way in which you can opt out anyways when the entire world seems like it's on the verge of being turned into necromorphs. Pause now if you want to read the first part of this. Then we'll... Well, I don't even know how to scroll down. I guess it's the D-pad that scrolls down. Pause now if you want to read the second part of this. And pause now if you want to read the last part of this. The text is getting longer, and see, now it just feels like Isaac could be throwing a fit instead of actually stomping things. So I guess it's the cores that determine what kind of weapon you make and what kind of how it actually fires. And here we have more visions in space. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like that scene did too much to that could have been easily missed. Yeah, that didn't feel like that could have done there could have been too much there different, but and it as far as his backstory. But yeah, we now are in a mystery on this ship, and I guess the mystery is fine and all, but there's perhaps I'd be more interested in moving forward with the story and introducing whatever alien species made the markers, or revealing that it actually was the humans that made the markers, and for what reason. And we'll probably get a little bit of that, but I feel like the vast majority of the game is just going to be doing the same game over again, the first game over again, with slightly less interesting results at that point. I suppose what's going to happen is my storage will fill up with the health packs eventually. And then I suppose we'll probably get benches right next to suit upgrade areas anyways. Can we craft anything? We could craft... Can't craft large med kits, and arguably maybe that is your best bet. Apparently we also need these tungsten torque locks, which apparently that unlocks, I would assume, doors, because in the first game you'd use power node upgrades to get into certain areas, and usually you'd get a power node upgrade back, but there were some areas where you wouldn't actually get that. As far as making a new weapon, do I really have enough? I can make a standard frame, but I don't think I want to do that. Let's see. So if I was going to try and add an attachment, we could make a scope, which, there might be an argument for that. Or ammo support, or safety guard, which only really would be useful in explosive weapons. A stasis packs, which this is useless in solo play. Stasis shots have larger radius, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to just pause the recording and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Man, boy, was that a long break for me. Like, I just got super distracted. It's been like 5 hours since I paused this game, so I'm gonna have to kind of remember what I was doing. The default tip is different here, right? No, it's the core that's the issue. So if this has a Tesla core, then this has a plasma core. So you pretty much only want one gun with that core. So what gun does this one have? Like, you can't really see it. This way, so you have to equip it, which, yeah, already you can tell that there's going to be too much time here. Military engine is the tool. So what else could we craft? You could craft a bolt gun with the telemetry spike, and that's it. So there literally is only 4 guns that you can have. So we are fine where we are to hold on to those weapons. Although, more than likely what's going to happen is we're going to only focus on this gun. So can we craft an attachment? Yes, we can make a scope. Is it worth it to spend semiconductors to make a scope? Not really. We need an ammo support way more. Some of the guns, I could see the safety guard being a thing. Some of these are also so co-op focused. They don't really make sense. Stasis shots don't really make a lot of sense. If the game really becomes that kind of hassle, where you have to stasis characters, I more than likely will just turn down the difficulty before I would actually improve this. I'm not sure if I don't like the idea, though, of the ammo sweeper on your main gun way more than anything than the clip, because you just may not need that many bullets as you try to upgrade things. Yeah, and cores are permanently set, so there's just nothing there. Let's see. So we do want this tip, but we're short on semiconductors, and I think I want this tip before I probably would want anything else. I mean, I could craft this right now, but then that would leave me with not enough scrap metal to craft that. So we're already in a situation where we probably don't actually want to craft anything. Let's see. Plasma core. Right now we have a rotator cuff module that lets you rotate at 90 degrees, whereas if I was to put this on, this plasma core, then I can't rotate 90 degrees, and that would ruin the default gun. You need that terribly. Let's see. And then the only thing I guess we could look here is, at some point we will make the compact elite frame or the heavy elite frame, which you don't even need the heavy elite frame for this kind of gun. It would disconnect and not work with anything else, it seems, that this gun has. I can't add a lower tooltip because of the rotator cuff module, and they're not really making that obvious. And at some point I could either double up on the ammo support, which it's not really telling us how much ammo that really would be. Meanwhile, we do have damage, so we want to equip that. And then we could change this over to rate of fire. But at some point I think we would want to construct a circuit which it seems like you only need 3 resources ever to craft anything. So at some point, a rate of fire plus 1 damage seems like what you would want over and over again, or reload plus 1 damage, or plus 1 damage, and clip. It seems like the price to make these isn't even that much different. Tungsten seems to be the premium currency. What's weird here is it feels like at some point there has to be a system that that improves your upgrade circuits. Otherwise, there's going to be very, very little gameplay that revolves around this menu, because like it doesn't seem like you can just stack a +1 damage on top of a +1 damage. So it seems almost like they'd give you some new item, which that doesn't really make sense, and it kind of feels like the store is here. Alright, so if this is the store, we do have some stuff we can sell. Let's see, navigate over to the safe. If I was to press Y here, I'm gonna get 50 somatic gel, not any kind of currency. If I was to press Y here, I'd get 200 scrap metal. If I was to dismantle that, I would get the components. And if I was to sell this item, I'd get transducers. So there might very well be an argument towards selling some things later on, but not now. There's some weirdness in this game. I realized these benches are supposed to be the old-fashioned benches from a couple 100 years ago. And if that is exactly the case, then the question to ask here is, why were these antique benches on the moon? There needed to be a sign that said antique benches when we saw them on the moon, or they just needed to not exist, or Isaac needed to say what an antique. Literally, that like 3 sentences would have helped. So we are not going this way. We instead are going this way, which I assume means.
Isaac, I'm sorry about that. There's so much going on.
So Norton, huh? I mean, that was quick.
The world is ending, and all you can think about is us?
Damn right. I never gave up on you.
Oh no, you gave up on the world.
I paid my dues. Or don't you think I'm fucked up enough already?
Isaac, this is do or die. We're stuck without your help. Are you with me?
Doesn't look like I have a choice. Perfect. Now what?
Now Isaac just feels like a bitter, jilted lover, kind of ignoring the sobering reality that would have been the case in this world.
What? Oh, fuck.
Let's see. So we did have a big monster here, and that doesn't seem to. Do these not explode? No, they don't. Interesting. So, yep. I wouldn't be surprised if this was really a case where the EarthGov is specifically using Ellie to bring Isaac back into the fold and manipulate him again. Alright. So in this case, I think this will be a case of wanting to stasis things. It's not a bad idea to actually force the player into using the stasis ability, because certainly I'm one of those players that would just never use it if I don't have to. Although it does kind of highlight that, like, right now I need to heal, and why refills only when you're not aiming on your stasis. His punch is bad. Wow, I guess I am using these small I just got an achievement. I don't know what achievement I just got though. And that seemed to be for stasising something or destroying something. It's nice now that we're going back the opposite direction and we're not having to use the telekinesis. Obviously, this entire game was designed around the idea of the telekinesis being a thing, and they wanted to make sure you knew how to use it, and they've frankly kind of forced that upon you. Now we're going back, which is something that happened in the Dead Space games a lot, and the question will be, are there now new things to collect, or is this just whatever was missed in the first run through? Stasis recharged, you'll want to use that every time. Now, will I die if I hit the blades? Probably not, but you probably want to be fairly careful anyways.
Isaac, Carver. All secure here.
How are the others?
They'll live. I'll meet you at the Admiral's quarters. Don't leave me waiting.
This level certainly has you climbing up and down ladders quite a lot. And I feel like this is intentional. We have small load sections that they're having to load into a different engine of the computer programming to do the zero gravity, which probably does not really connect greatly to this totally is a case where we are just not firing fast enough. And there definitely are pickups here that weren't here before. What is this? Electrical engineer interface. Okay. Okay, so this is some kind of puzzle. Which clearly this would have been co-op. And they've turned it into instead using just the left stick and the right stick. What did that do? Like, was that something you needed to activate this door? Are we going back this way? Or is this just a case of a game that had that kind of multiplayer co-op content to open doors before this point and we just didn't need to do it? Are we gonna run across these kinds of things all over the place? If I had done something wrong there, which I don't think I did, it should have given me a second chance. So I'm very confused by that. That may just be yet another example of how this game is totally not designed to be played in solo mode. They've abandoned that. And see, it seems like we're going to just constantly end up in these little closets to get to these 0G sections. Am I going the wrong way? I must have gotten turned around, I think. I don't think I'm supposed to go this way. That would be too weird to go into one room and then find out that the one room is exactly the same as the other room. Maybe this elevator didn't work until that point. That very well could have been the case. There's a problem. If we're going to spend most of the game in this ancient technology, which does look fancy for an elevator in a spaceship, but whatever. If we're going to spend it in this ancient technology area this whole time, the odds of you getting new information or new weapons is very low. It's going to pretty much come down to Isaac having to... that got me an achievement. And inside of that was an item worth collecting. Yeah, it really would just come down to Isaac building new weapons, which is fine. Showing Isaac as a as an inventor is not a terrible idea since he was a repairman.
Ellie, Carver, we've reached the Admiral's quarters. Isaac's... Turn it off. Hey, Isaac! Turn it
Isaac?
off.
Carver, what's going on?
Turn it off. Isaac! Hey!
So he's starting to see the hallucinations, and our co-op partner has just magically appeared for this cutscene. He's going to do that, I bet, for all of them.
Ellie, the Admiral was obsessed with making a key.
A key to what?
Hey! A key to what?
Some sort of alien device. A machine. I think that she believed that it controlled the markers.
Oh my god.
She wanted to turn it off. She wrote that over and over again like a mantra.
Or instructions. This is exactly what we've been looking for. This isn't just some random planet, Isaac. They found the source.
Of course, this is just kind of the same thing as, like, the make us whole mantra.
Alright, let's regroup in the control room. We can plan our next move from there.
Clark, shake it off. Let's go. Clark!
I wonder if it makes any sense that the marker homeworld would be covered in snow. Would that be some way in which they were trying to evolve themselves to... Interesting that the wine shattered. Like, if they were trying to evolve themselves to be more resilient and ended up turning themselves into necromorphs, maybe that would make some sense. Looks like we're going to get a lot of these EarthGov badges Pause now if you want to read it. This one can lose an arm, but can't seemingly lose much else. Nope. Can lose everything except for the torso, which I bet is stuck to the ground.
Damn it, Marjorie. I'm risking a lot of brave men and women down in that ice cube.
A lot of this text should just be audio logs.
For the love of God, what the hell we're looking for?
We are looking for hope, General.
Oh, good God in heaven.
Support for the war and our ability to fight it are dwindling. We are out of resources, we are out of public approval, and we are out of time.
Just answer my question.
Military still looks pretty bad.
Markers.
You must be joking.
No, General. I'm not. I will be sending Dr. Serrano to your quarters to give you a full briefing.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
General, you are dismissed.
Calling them markers is a little weird of a choice because marker is too generic of a term. You'd just expect that there would be a lot of things called a marker. Should be called something like the alien markers or something like that. Or let's see. Pause now if you want to read this. Nothing can be done about that ship. A lot of pictures. You think there's any kind of secret passages? There's all kinds of alcohol everywhere. Which does kind of show that there is a consistent mental disturbance that happens to anyone affected by the markers. Okay.
Buckle here. We've tracked down a scrapped transport shuttle. It's called the Crozier.
If we can get it spaceworthy again, we can use it to reach the planet's surface.
No chance. We find the shuttle, then we're getting the hell out of here.
Damn it, Robert! If we don't stop the markers, there won't be anything to go back to.
Either way, it looks like the shuttle's our only shot.
I guess maybe they have no military force left, because it would seem like you could just call in planet-destroying military vessels and just destroy the entire planet. Although that has been a consistent issue, I guess, with all the Dead Space games, is that you seem to very much be the only man capable of defeating a marker, when it would make a lot more sense that forgot we have this whole objective marker, which barely shows the right direction. So they're still doing that thing.
Admiral Graves asked me to prepare this information for you. When the black marker was exhumed on the Earth in 2214,
can we just watch this?
It defied our understanding of science. It appeared to generate limitless energy, a trait of obvious importance in our resource-strapped times. There was an effort to replicate the marker, hoping to understand its technology, thereby acquiring limitless energy for ourselves. Imagine our surprise when we learned they are not sources of energy, but receivers of it. Via carrier wave from somewhere deep in space. Triangulating this marker signal revealed a previously undetected planet, now known as Tau Volantis. We hope to find the source of this signal and finally harness the energy for ourselves. And if this works, it could mean a better future for all of us. General, thank you for your time. Good afternoon, General. Admiral Graves asked me to prepare this information for you.
Okay.
When the black marker was exhumed on the Earth in 2214, it defied
So that just started playing by itself because maybe we turned on the power. I thought we had already turned on the power when we came here.
There was an effort to replicate the marker, hoping to understand its technology. Via carrier wave from somewhere deep
Throwing things at it did not work.
Triangulating
They definitely are having you walk through areas that you've already visited. They're reusing level design. Some of that makes sense. That's a weird point to introduce new enemy styles. I guess that's fine though. I mean, they really do need to try and have some horror elements, otherwise this game is going to fall dangerously to 100% action. And see, by the time we get back to the previous bench that we have already been at, then we probably at that level will be ready to upgrade the firing speed of this gun and have enough inventory items. The problem here, and notice that load, is we can't go where it says by default. Interesting. We just got a shotgun blueprint, but the shotgun blueprint didn't really go anywhere. So I'm gonna have to play the game fairly thoroughly if I want to find clip increases. And a +1 clip means I just have 11 shots instead of 12, whereas you have this compounding improvement if you just increase damage. So if you could transfer a clip over to being a +1 damage, you would want to do that, and that makes the most sense as long as you're not missing. If you are a bad shot, that's gonna hurt you in any game that involves shooting, certainly, but particularly in this game, it will waste your bullets.
Isaac, there you are.
See, she lost her eye, but sometimes it looks like it's there. And I guess when her image first loaded, it wasn't there. Maybe that was Isaac hallucinating.
Let's get the shuttle so we can head home already.
Robert, we are not going home.
Hey, we'll get the shuttle first.
There's some weirdness here. Like,
I'm heading out to take a look at this.
it seems like in this universe there's a significant number of Latin people and what people with Spanish accents, and there's a weird cleavage here that in a horror game, I mean, you can do that certainly, but it gets weird. So objective is this way. A suit kiosk is this way. We still haven't gotten to a suit kiosk at all. This is still locked. There's some things we potentially missed, I guess. So let's play thoroughly. Still looks like that says cumin remains, not human. Which, yeah, maybe the language has changed. Seems like we are going to end up coming back to this area a few times. And the thing about the first game is the Ishimura is just like a giant ship. And there are entire levels that are entirely separated by trams and loading sections. And that just seems like that is not a thing that's going to exist in this game. Okay. Can we craft a item. We could get an ammo sweeper to automatically pick up ammo, but then we just have to be picking up other things anyways, which, yeah, I don't think it is worth it to get the ammo sweeper. Because this is not one of those games where you're running and gunning. You're moving slowly and gunning. So yeah, there isn't an argument towards that. This would do wide beam versus but then that reduces your clip size and your speed. Where the other one would reduce your clip size and reduce your damage. But then it rapid fires. I don't think either one of those is worth it. I think we may very well find out that none of this stuff is actually worth it. I guess we could try to make a better frame. But we don't have enough tungsten. We only have 15 tungsten. And so everything is kind of pointless until then. And rate of fire up 1, damage up 1. Add a clip plus 1. Can't unlock this circuit though until we have 5 more tungsten. Yeah. None of this is worth anything. Look at this blueprints. We found this shotgun thing. We'll use scavenge parts if available for construction. Alright, so if I go new here, create new frame. No, it has to be blueprints. Where are the blueprints? This would be a blueprint. If I picked up a blueprint, I guess you just start the game with each of these blueprints. And so they gave me the shotgun, but I wouldn't be able to really have the shotgun anytime soon unless I'm just playing this game horribly bad. Let's see. It would be weird to play as a game with a shotgun anyways. Semiconductors. We need basically 200 semiconductors and 1,000 scrap metal. If we were to go into our inventory here, first of all, I'm noticing I'm going to immediately need to put all of these back in my inventory. This would give me 200, so I'd have to sell pretty much all of our bullets, and I don't think there's anything else I could sell. Yeah, so that's just like a pointless. You could go to the bench if somehow you had a whole bunch more resources, which you don't, which you probably never will. And once again, I feel like this is an example of the game forcing in this resource management concept. Whereas in the first game, you did have collectible upgrades and things you could find, but they were not so much there to make you play the game more as much as they were there to just show, give you the horror of not being able to have every single type of game or every gun in the game. Even in that instance, that it was kind of a bad system, but it did make you, at the very least, search some extra rooms and look for some extra things. Here, you're not getting motivated really to search for extra resources in rooms because it seems fairly obvious even now that that's not really how this is going to work, and instead we're going to send out the scavenge bots when they introduce the scavenge bots and make them do all the work. Apparently we have somewhat just moved into Chapter 4, and frankly we may move directly into Chapter 5 as we leave the ship. It seems like it's a much smoother transition, arguably too smooth of a transition, and that seems like it's not making the bespoke sections feel like bespoke sections. We can, I guess, see on the suit upgrade that we will be upgrading our health, and that is a great thing to save resources for. And if this part is labeled quarantined, does that pretty much guarantee that going this direction we aren't going to run into any more zombies? We really haven't had a huge amount of challenge so far, but we fought enough of them, of the Necromorphs. So I wouldn't be super surprised if we go through this door, we get a suit upgrade station, then we leave the ship to the next chapter. It feels like there's a high chance that we're going to end up spending half the game on this planet in the snow. Her health bar, for instance, is way higher, also way smaller. So it seems like his exosuit seems to make a special effort to make it look bigger and more mechanical. It's not a terrible idea. This is honestly one of the best concepts. Not this specific suit, this one looks pretty bad, but it's one of the original Dead Space suit was one of the best concepts for a spacesuit we'd seen in a long time, or I had seen in a long time. Now, at this level, there is also games like Titanfall, I think, has spacesuits. Anthem has spacesuits. It's been stolen, the concept. So the Halo Master Chief suit, of course, existed before this. So we would like to see, with a new generation of better graphics, a new style, some really high fancy artists make a new style of spacesuit. But the spacesuit only gets you so far. It does certainly highlight an issue in the fact that this game, your suit that you first get is all white, and in the first game it was all dark bronze rusted, much more feeling in place of a horror game. Clearly there's subconscious and just directly conscious attempts to not make this a horror game. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.